Hello, my name is Charles Hartman. I'm pastor in residence at the Community Church of Providence. I share this recording called By the Roots for those who might attend our sermon, which will be given a week from this next Sunday. What I want to do today is offer a little bit of background to Baptist history so that we're ready to hear some of the nuances that we have ready for us in this sermon. What I want to do a little bit theoretically is understand how our past has created our present, a comparison of the then and now. You'll see this little diagram with arrows over a line. That's the hermeneutical process. We begin in our present for meaning, for understanding. We go back to the original documents, understand them in their context, bring the meaning and the new understandings out so that they can be applied to our own present situation. Part of this is called the paradosis, the handing on of the faith to the next generation, understanding the root developments so that we can see how that affects us and who we believe that we are and what we can do now. So paradosis is a word we want to reclaim from the past. We know that there was scriptural development. Our faith began to be recorded in the scriptures of the Hebrews, was brought to canonization by the Septuagint, about 70 Common Era. Those became the basis of the Christian New Testament. Jesus was familiar with all of the Old Testament familiars. After he was crucified, the oral traditions told his story. Eventually, they began to solidify and manifest themselves in letters. Gospels, John and the pastorals were written about 100 years later. The canon was finally decided by church councils around 300. I want to talk briefly about some of the traditions that brought us to where we are. The Warren Church, which is the big picture in the middle, is one of our immediate progenitors, but also from the Baptist Church in Providence, Rogers Church, but also some influence from John Miles. I'm going to look at some words and ideas. We have to remember that our Baptist traditions began when there was a monarchy, that the divine right of kings was the political, theological assumption. The kings had the right to decide. Henry VIII was the one who brought that more pointed understanding out of the European context to England. He became the head of the state. During the Reformation, which was begun by the Renaissance, going back to the original documents, the Greek and Latin sources, a movement called the Puritanism emerged to change the relationships of how the church is run, who makes the decisions. Puritans began to struggle with this idea: who creates the ideas and who enforces the practices of our faith. Roger Williams, as a radical Puritan, said, we ourselves, each believer, has a liberty of conscience, and this liberty of conscience is the most dynamic idea, one of the dangerous ideas from which Roger was thrown out of Massachusetts. The Puritans began to reject the hierarchical priest, pope, bishop model, and began to form congregations which were autonomous organizations. But realizing the limitations of any small group, they reached out in association to find ways of supporting each other and encouraging others. They did this along a couple of lines. They said the church must be visible. Deep within our Baptist roots is this sense that we have to have a public witness as well as a private witness. And it was that public witness which was driven by the change in our behaviors and our understandings, the regeneration. Regeneration is often the parallel understanding to born again or, continuing religious development. The understanding of it in the 17th century is one of those things I think we can bring back. That same power that converts to faith in Christ, the same power carries on the soul still through all duties, temptations, conflicts, sufferings, and continually, whatever a Christian is, he is by grace in a constant renewed operation from God. And this is what we're trying to reclaim. And that's what we put in our covenants that say we will work with each other to support and to encourage our spiritual faith. And we will write them in confessions, which you can voluntarily agree with or not. In England, Baptists arose about 1608 in the Scrooby areas, the Worksop Priory, which I visited last fall. Two separate groups, one went to Leiden, one went to Amsterdam. Eventually the people from Amsterdam and Leiden came back, and there were London congregations formed about 1638. The English Civil War from 1649 to 1660 changed things around. Cromwell was Protestant, and then he became more of a dictator. Eventually, Charles II was set on the throne. There was still dissent. William and Mary finally the ultimate revolution, and from the time of William and Mary, only Protestants can be monarchs in England. Roger Williams and Mary Barnard were acquainted in the Worksop Priory, where the Scrooby congregations were, at the very rootage of our tradition. John Clark followed the Scrooby congregations to Leiden. Roger and John were the only university-trained people in those early days. Obadiah Holmes came to the colonies, eventually became associated with people that followed John Clark to Newport, from Rehoboth Congregational Church. John Miles was in England, formed the first 5 Baptist churches in Wales, but during the restoration of the monarchy was forced to flee. Thomas Gould and Henry Dunster were working on these things in Boston. About the same time, Miles came to Rehoboth and formed the Swansea Church. James Manning was a later addition, came in the 1740s, first to Warren, founded College of Rhode Island, which became Brown University, to train Baptist clergy. John Leland was the one who took Rogers' ideas down through Connecticut, was also in conversation with Jefferson and Madison, helped them think through the separation of church and state. Samuel Stillman was a part of that movement in the Boston area. On Sunday when you come, this is the outline. We're going to talk about our roots. As Roger encouraged us, we edify people first, then we exhort them, we ask them what they can do. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But he also puts as an important part of a sermon to comfort the people. So we're going to talk about how our sense of who we are is important to all of us. So I want to thank you, and I hope this has been helpful for you. So we will see you on Sunday a week.